My brothers and sisters in Islam, did you know that one of the greatest tests we face every single morning is right after Fajr? The Prophet made dua for Barakah in the early hours of this Ummah. Sadly, most of us throw away this blessing by going straight back to sleep. We think it's just a little rest, but in reality, it could be the reason our Rizq feels restricted, our time feels wasted, and our hearts feel empty. Shayṭān whispers, sleep, sleep. You have a long day ahead. But the truth is those hours are filled with opportunities that may never return. Today, let's uncover the hidden secret of sleeping after Fajr, something 90% of Muslims are unaware of. One of the most beautiful gifts that Allah's Messenger left for us is the importance of the early morning hours, especially after Fajr. There is a famous hadith where the Prophet made a special dua, Allah bless my ummah, in their early mornings. This shows that there is something very special about this time of the day. It is not just about waking up early, it is about receiving the barakahs, divine blessings that Allah has placed in those hours. When the Prophet prayed for barakah in the mornings, he was teaching us that the start of the day determines the rest of the day. If we begin with Qur'an, dhikr, and righteous action, the day will carry barakah, ease and productivity. But if we sleep through this time, we are ignoring the dua of the Prophet and depriving ourselves of blessings that cannot be replaced later. The companions understood this very well. Many of them would engage in work, trade, or knowledge right after Fajr. History records that successful Muslim merchants would open their shops in the early morning, believing that Allah would bless their transactions because of this dua. Scholars and students of knowledge would dedicate the hours after Fajr to memorizing Qur'an and studying because they knew that the mind is clearest and the heart most connected to Allah at that time. Today, many of us miss this powerful blessing. The modern habit of staying awake late at night and then sleeping after Fajr has robbed us of the very barakah that the Prophet asked Allah to give us. We then complain about lack of time, stress, and inability to achieve our goals. In reality, the problem is not with time. The problem is with us neglecting the time that carries the most blessings. Imagine starting your day right after Fajr with dhikr, Quran, and setting your intentions for the day. Instead of wasting those precious hours in sleep, you use them to draw closer to Allah and to organize your worldly responsibilities. By the time others are waking up, you would already have accomplished so much and your heart would be full of light. This is the true meaning of barakah, doing more with less time, achieving beyond what you thought possible, and having peace in your efforts. The Prophet did not pray for blessings in the late night, nor in the afternoon, but specifically in the morning. This means that if a believer wants Allah's help in their rizq, studies, work, or worship, they should pay attention to these hours. Waking up for Fajr, staying awake, and using the time productively is like opening the treasure chest of Allah's blessings that most people walk past without noticing. Therefore, we must remind ourselves the dua of the Prophet, I is alive, and its effects are real. If we want to taste the sweetness of success in dunya and akhirah, we should honor this dua by making our mornings a time of worship and gratitude. Islam teaches us that time is one of the greatest blessings of Allah. Every hour carries opportunities and sometimes are more blessed than others. Among these, the hours right after Fajr hold a special secret. They are filled with barakah and openings for rizq, sustenance. When a person sleeps during this time, they do not just lose minutes of rest, they lose divine opportunities that could have shaped their day and their future. The Prophet pray, "Oh Allah, bless my ummah in their mornings." So term it. This means that rizq, success and productivity are placed in the early hours. A believer who sleeps after Fajr often misses out on these blessings. They might find themselves struggling with finances, lacking energy, or constantly running short of time. On the other hand, those who discipline themselves to stay awake experience more barakah in their wealth, health and work. Rizq is not limited to money. It includes knowledge, good health, spiritual strength and opportunities to do good. When we sleep after Fajr, we miss the chance to gain knowledge while the mind is fresh and the heart is at peace. Students who dedicate mornings to study often achieve more in an hour than others do in several hours later in the day. Workers and business people who start early are often more successful because they catch opportunities while others are still asleep. The Quran reminds us, "And he it is who made the night for you as clothing and the sleep for rest and made the day a resurrection." Surah Al-Furqan 25 and 4:7. The day, especially its beginning, was created for effort and striving. Sleeping through the time of effort flips the natural order Allah designed, leading to laziness, loss of blessings, and missed chances. Many of us complain, "I don't have enough time," or "I'm always behind on my tasks." But the truth is that by neglecting the morning hours, we are throwing away a treasure of time Allah gave us. This is why our tasks feel heavy, our minds feel cloudy, and our rizq feels restricted. It is not just about working hard, it is about working in the hours where Allah has placed barakah. In history, Muslims who valued mornings were among the most productive people. Scholars would write volumes of books after Fajr, merchants would secure their best trade deals early, and farmers would begin their work at sunrise, ensuring abundance in their harvest. They lived with less stress yet achieved much more because their time was blessed. Sleeping after Fajr, it is therefore not a small matter, it is a silent thief that steals our rizq and opportunities. The wealth, knowledge, ideas, openings Allah wrote for us in those hours may pass us by if we remain heedless. The wise believer understands this and treats the hours after Fajr as sacred. Even if one cannot do much, reciting Quran, making dua, planning the day, or doing light work can bring immense barakah. In this way, we align ourselves with the dua of the Prophet and ensure that our rizq flows with blessings. One of the hidden dangers of sleeping after Fajr is that it opens the door for Shayṭān to take control of our day. Islam teaches us that Shayṭān works constantly to pull us away from the paths of goodness, and one of his greatest tools is laziness. The Prophet explained in a hadith that Shayṭān ties 3 knots at the back of a person's head when they sleep. Each time he whispers, "You have a long night ahead. Sleep." If the person wakes up and remembers Allah, 1 knot is untied. If they perform wudu, the 2nd knot is untied. And if they pray, the 3rd knot is untied. And they start the day with energy and positivity. But if they remain sleeping, Shayṭān overcomes them, leaving them lazy and unmotivated. Layasi al-Bukhar Qiyas Muslim. This shows that after Fajr, Shayṭān tries his hardest to push us back into sleep because he knows how much barakah lies in those hours. By sleeping, a believer falls into his trap and the effects of laziness spread throughout the day. Instead of feeling energized, the person feels heavy. Instead of being productive, tasks are delayed. Even acts of worship may be rushed or skipped later because the discipline of starting the day with Allah's remembrance was lost. Shayṭān does not make us commit sins directly at first. Instead, weakens us through habits of idleness and procrastination. Sleeping after Fajr becomes one of those habits that silently destroy productivity and spiritual strength. A believer who repeatedly falls into this pattern may find themselves always short on time, unable to focus in worship, and constantly postponing good deeds. In reality, these are the whispers of Shayṭān disguised as just a little more sleep. The Quran warns us about this trick. And do not follow the footsteps of Shayṭān. Indeed, he is to you a clear enemy. So Surah Al-Baqarah 268. Notice how Allah says footsteps, because Shayṭān does not drag a person into disobedience immediately. He takes small steps. One of them is to encourage oversleeping, laziness, and wasting the golden hours after Fajr. If we reflect on our own lives, many of us notice that a day started with Fajr and Quran feels light and blessed. But a day started with sleep after Fajr often feels heavy, unproductive, and spiritually dry. This is not a coincidence. It is the direct effect of Shayṭān's whispers and the absence of barakah. The solution lies in resisting Shayṭān at this crucial time. Even if one cannot stay awake for many hours, engaging in dhikr, Quran, or even organizing tasks after Fajr builds resistance against laziness. Over time, this habit strengthens self-discipline and weakens Shayṭān's grip. The believer must remember, thrives on our laziness. He wants us to waste time, miss opportunities, and live with regret. But when we push ourselves to remain awake after Fajr, we break his knots, we take control of our day. We prove that our souls belong to Allah, not to Shayṭān. There are moments in a believer's life when the gates of Allah's mercy open wide, inviting them to draw closer. Among these special times is the period after Fajr. This time carries spiritual openings, moments when dua is more readily accepted, when the Quran softens the heart more deeply, and when a person feels the sweetness of closeness to Allah. Unfortunately, many Muslims lose these openings by choosing to return to sleep after Fajr, unaware of what treasures they are missing. The Quran highlights the importance of early mornings and establish prayer at the 2 ends of the day and at the approach of the night. Indeed, good deeds remove misdeeds. So Surah Hast 11 to 140. Fajr prayer marks the first end of the day, setting the tone for everything that follows. When a person stays awake after it, they are in a state of worship, remembrance, and awareness of Allah. This becomes a door to spiritual light and inner strength. But when one sleeps, this opening closes and the chance to taste that light fades away. The Prophet described that angels gather at Fajr and Asr to witness the believers' prayers, and they ascend to Allah with their testimony. Imagine the honor of being among those recorded as engaged in Quran, dhikr, or dua during that sacred time. Now imagine being recorded as one who slept while the angels bore witness. The loss is not just in dunya, it is a missed opportunity to be remembered in the heavens. Dua after Fajr is also unique. Scholars explain that the time between Fajr and sunrise is among the blessed times when supplications are answered, the heart is calm, distractions are minimal, and the soul is naturally inclined toward reflection. When we choose sleep instead, we close the door to this acceptance. Many of our worries, struggles, and hopes could have found relief in dew at that time, but we miss it by choosing temporary comfort. Another spiritual opening in the morning is the recitation of Quran. Al-Atin says, indeed, the recitation of the Quran at dawn is ever witnessed. So Surah Al-Isra 17:10-70-80. The scholars explain that both the angels of the night and the angels of the day witness the Fajr recitation. This double testimony makes the Quran recited at Fajr especially powerful, filling the heart with guidance and tranquility. To sleep during this time is to miss being part of this divine witnessing. When a believer repeatedly chooses sleep after Fajr, their spiritual state gradually weakens. They may not feel the sweetness of worship, their dues may feel heavy, and their hearts may feel distant from Allah. This is the hidden loss not just of time, but of spiritual connection. Instead, if one builds the habit of staying awake, even if only for a short while, they can unlock these spiritual openings. Whether through Quran, Dikek, or silent reflection, they align themselves with the rhythm of the heavens where angels witness and blessings descend. The believer should therefore remind themselves sleep can wait, but these openings cannot. Once missed, they may never return. The wise person values the after Fajr hours as a sacred gift, using them to draw near to Allah and to prepare their soul for the journey of the day.